Let's talk about the incredible true story of a man who earned the legendary title, the chillest man on Earth. And he didn't do it by climbing Everest or meditating for decades. No, he did it by doing pretty much nothing at all in a moment of pure chaos. So, let me ask you something. Picture this. You're just relaxing, minding your own business, and all of a sudden, you're in the middle of an armed robbery. What's your gut reaction? Fight? Flight? Freeze? Hold on to that thought, because the guy in our story had a reaction that, well, it pretty much breaks the mold. All right, so let's set the scene. We're in St. Louis, Missouri, back in 2019, and it's just a completely, totally normal day. The kind of day you've lived 1,000 times and don't even think twice about. And at the center of his very normal day is our guy, Tony Tovar. He's just hanging out at his favorite local spot, having a quiet moment to himself. He has absolutely no idea that his ordinary afternoon is about to make him an internet legend. And then just like that, everything changes. The door flies open and a man walks in holding a rifle. Instantly, panic just floods the room. The normal day? Yeah, that's officially over. And this is where the story gets really fascinating, because the real conflict here wasn't just between a robber and his victims. Nope. It was a showdown between two completely opposite forces. Absolute panic and a level of relaxation that just doesn't seem possible. I mean, the contrast is just wild. The robber starts yelling, and everyone else hits the deck. People are scrambling, diving behind stools, trying to make themselves invisible. And Tony? He doesn't even flinch. He just sits there at the bar, casually smoking his cigarette like he's watching a mildly boring TV show. So, of course, the robber is going through the bar and immediately spots the one guy who isn't cowering on the floor. He marches right up to Tony, rifle and all, and demands his phone. This is it. This is the moment where chaos comes face to face with calm. And Tony's response? It's just unbelievable. He looks at the guy with the gun and just says no. He doesn't fight, he doesn't freak out, he just flat out refuses. Nope, you can't have my phone. End of story. But believe it or not, refusing to give up his phone was just the warm-up act. What happens in the next few seconds is what really cements Tony Tovar's status as an absolute folk hero. The robber is probably completely thrown off. I mean, who does that? So he tries a different tactic. If he can't get the phone, he'll take the cash. He demands Tony's money. And what was the massive fortune that Tony was about to risk his life for? What was he guarding so fiercely? $2. Two. That's it. That's all he had. And this is the quote that made him a legend. Tony looks at the robber and says, "I have $2, and I'm not giving them to you." You realize right then, it was never about the money. It was about a state of chill so powerful that a rifle pointed at you just doesn't register as a big deal. And here's the crazy part. This whole intense standoff was over in less than a minute. The robber comes in, gets completely stonewalled by Tony's impossible calm, and apparently gets so confused that he just grabs $200 from the register and bolts. Tony's total lack of action somehow de-escalated the entire thing. And the final scene is just perfect. The robber's gone, the danger has passed, and what's Tony doing? He takes another slow drag from his cigarette. Nothing has changed. His posture, his expression, it's all the same. For him, the interruption is over. Time to get back to his day. Which brings us to the ultimate question, right? Was what we saw an incredible act of bravery? A principled, fearless stand against a criminal? Or was this a man so profoundly, fundamentally chill that a life-or-death situation just didn't have what it took to bother him? What do you think?